What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us here at the RTSports YouTube page. It is time for a live Beat Bender draft. I'm Howard Bender. You can see it right there on the name there. Who do I have with me today? The ultimate of giving beatings to Bender. That's right. I'm talking about last season's, the 2025 Ultimate Beat Howard Bender Best Ball Draft Tournament winner. Joe Jacoby, 10 grand in his pocket for just making me look foolish here. Joe, what's going on, my man? How are you? Thanks for joining.
I'm doing great, Howard. Thank you for having me on. $20 to win 10 grand is unbelievable. And yeah, it's just an honor and a pleasure to share some of my insights, my experience, and kind of observe this draft to see who the new people vying for the throne are.
Indeed. And you're actually on the clock. The draft has officially started, so I want to make sure that you get to make your pick.
Yep.
I'll bring up the draft board so that everybody can kind of take a look at it and see what we've got going on here. A 10-team, tight end premium, best ball draft. You know the standard scoring rules that we've got going on here. And, you know, listen, this is one of the things I love doing this because we're like sitting here right now and we're like, oh, we're drafted in the middle of the draft and we want to talk and all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm going to take my guy here and I'm going to go with my Jonathan Taylor pick. And what we're going to do is we're going to let the draft board kind of develop. We'll make our picks as we're going on. But I think if you're joining us here, and by the way, hit that like and subscribe button for the RealTime Fantasy Sports YouTube page. Just a nice free way to say you appreciate the drafts, you appreciate the live streams, all the videos that you get, and it's all free of charge right here on our YouTube channel. So it's always nice, and we would appreciate that. So, but we're going to let this draft go. We'll make our picks as we're going on. But Joe, if you don't mind, and I know, you know, some high stakes players don't like it. They don't want to give away too much in their strategy world or something like that. But I am about to pepper you with probably a billion questions on how you did it and, you know, like how long you've been playing and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So are you ready for the Q&A session?
I'll bring it on, Bender. I'm ready.
Bring it on, Bender. See, you can already tell the vibe. When somebody's just calling me Bender, they don't even use my first name anymore. I love that. Well, good. All right, Jacoby. First and foremost, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what brings you here into the RT Sports world. How did you start playing on RT Sports?
Okay. All right. So from New York, live in Vegas, been in fantasy world since 1998. And it's interesting because when I first started in fantasy football, I was brought in by a colleague of mine, and we literally had to go to someone's house, do a live conference call on who we were drafting. The guy had an AOL computer, 56K modem, and then every week he would fax us the stats from the previous week, and we'd freak out doing the math to see if our team is winning. I literally come from a fantasy world where we had to call up other owners on the phone and ask them if they wanted to trade. This is back in 1998.
Which was the best, right? Wasn't that like, I mean, with all the online drafts that we do, right? And the fact that everything is all communicated through email and text right now, actually calling up your buddies and talking trade and everything like that on the phone, it's a lost art. It's a definite lost art.
I mean, it got to a point where we were calling people 9 o'clock at night and they were saying, I'm in bed, call me tomorrow. And all I wanted was Chris Carter. I mean, so it was just like real grassroots for me. And then as time went on, I started getting really into the online drafts because it was easier. I didn't have to read the newspaper. I didn't have to do the math on my calculator. I mean, I was literally running to the mailbox to get the standings from the previous week. So fantasy football has come a long way, for sure.
Oh, unbelievably, like, you know, and I really started getting into, because right about that time, the late 90s is when the internet was just, it was blowing everything up. I remember, you know, playing on a variety of, or not a variety, like two platforms basically. is what it was. And so, yeah, I mean, to see it all kind of, from what it is now to what it was back then, really phenomenal. So consider yourself, do you consider yourself a high stakes player? Do you consider yourself a volume player, a tournament guy, or do you don't care what the format is, you just want to play?
That's a good question. I like the buy low, high return tournaments. I feel like there's less pressure. I'm not buying in for $1,000. I'm not buying in for 500. I'm going in small, but I'm relying on a lot of knowledge. And it just takes the edge off a little bit. Like, these are the perfect tournaments where you can express your knowledge through your pick. And if you lose, you're not buried as far as what you invested. So I prefer to do these low risk, high reward. But I have done a couple of bigger ones. I've done the fantasy championship one a couple of times. And I've cashed, decently. But I just feel like in a bigger field, your knowledge and your expertise really shine, because you got to beat a lot of people. I mean, this is a hard tournament to win. And it also takes a little bit of luck too.
Yeah, well, I mean, for any big tournament that happens there, I mean, you need guys standing and playing actually in weeks 15, 16, and 17. Like, you need that actually to happen and to come to fruition for you. So I can totally get that. Now, for winning the tournament last year, we'll start with the question of how many entries. You don't have to give me an exact number here, but did you do a lot of drafts in this one particular contest here? Do you focus in on the one contest because you're like, it's $20 entry, 10 grand prize?
Yeah.
Let me keep my attention here.
I did probably I did about 7 or 8 beat benders. I did about 10 best balls, regular payouts, and I did 2 championship fantasy ones for 300 each. But I think overall, I cashed in almost about half of them. But in this particular league last year, I really didn't start paying attention to my team till probably like week 7, week 8, where I'm like, wow, I'm in the top 150. There might be a shot here. And then as the weeks progressed, I started getting more into this team, thinking I'm like, wow, I was lucky to have Puka and JSN on the same team. So as the season develops, you start really seeing how good your picks are. Because like I told you earlier, the 3 things that I've learned about best ball: volatility is good, uncertainty is always going to create leverage, and unique builds definitely matter. So I had all of those 3 elements, and it just became like really interesting to watch how it unfolded. And I wound up winning by like 25 points. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're both about to be on the clock. I'm gonna, for everybody who's looking at this draft board here right now, shout it out to all the crew here. Brent Campbell, I did a bunch of drafts with Brent last year. I remember him. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. That's Timmy Football. I don't think I've drafted with him before. Travis Saxton. Then there's the Champ. Look at you naming your team the Champ like that. Why didn't you just call yourself like the 10 grand kid or something like that? Now I got every time I hear the Champ is here, the Champ is here.
I know.
Is that your walk-up music if you're a ball player?
It is, like with the Rocky picture in the background.
All right. Well, let me go through the rest here while Joe gets a chance to make his pick. So Joe picks 4th. I'm 5th. Stampede is picking 6th. Fozzie Dog. Thank you so much, Fozzie, for actually naming your team Fozzie Dog, because you know how much I love you. You know how much I love competing against you. And the talk that goes back and forth between us. Now I know you. I see you, Fozzie. I see you. And then we got Hit, WNL week 3, and then Hornets Nest. So 10-team PPR scoring. Now remember, it's tight end premium. You got to throw a little bit of nuance in on all of that. And just, good old draft. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at like what the starting rosters are, it's 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex. We don't do kickers. We don't do defenses here, thankfully. And then we've obviously got a 12-person bench. So we're sitting there. We're going to draft a full 20 rounds here. Joe says he wants to hang out with me for the full hour. So you guys are going to get all of that treated in here. So I got to know, Joe, because we'll talk about like your strategy going in and what kind of build you were thinking about doing. But you got to take me through that moment where there it was, the final week. You were behind. You needed to come back. Like, talk to me about the mood, the vibe, how much swearing you were doing, how much freaking out you were doing. Like, how was that for you?
Well, I'll tell you, I had to constantly charge my phone like every 3 hours that weekend because I kept refreshing for points. I literally was obsessed with like, what's going on with this guy? I got to refresh, especially when you're like that close. You start really watching these teams. And I was in a position and I set myself up for week 17. Okay, I'm going to share a strategy with you.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this draft, I was thinking about the last game of the year to think that if I was in the running and I was close to winning this whole pool, who would I need? So it was the Rams and the Falcons that were playing, and it was a Monday night game, and it was in a dome. This is like fantasy dream to have somebody in that game that you need to win. So I was lucky enough to have Puka Nacua and Bijan Robinson, and I was going against the guy that had Kyle Pitts, and he was leading going into Monday night, but I think it was like 28 points. So I'm like, all right, I should have no problem with Puka. Bijan will do what Bijan does, and I just need Pitts to not do anything. Well, Puka wound up having a bad game, and Bijan Robinson didn't do anything till the second quarter, and then he busted a 90-yard run for a touchdown. I couldn't believe I literally just took the lead after not ever being number one all year. My team was never in first place, even after the week ended. And then that was the first time of the year that I was in first place, and then I never looked back. I got more points out of Puka. I wound up winning by like 20 points. But the guy ahead of me, I was a little nervous going into halftime of that game because I was still losing.
All right. Well, you are on the clock right now. I'll let you make your pick. I guess the question that I have for you here, because listen, I think that that's a phenomenal, notion to have and be like, you know what? Last Monday night game of the season, if I've got somebody going in there, I'm going to be able to accrue points and, keep working it. Oh, see, there it is. So you did it again right here with Nico Collins. But let me ask you, this ain't no dome, buddy. This Monday night game is in the frozen tundra of Green Bay.
Yeah.
You don't care. You're like, screw it. Just give me my shares of my Texans. Nico Collins is the number one wide receiver. I got to go for it.
Having that guy makes me know that I got a chance to win this tournament again.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Right? Now I gotta look. Now I gotta be like, where am I going? The pain of drafting side by side with you here. We're probably gonna end up doing some things that kind of go against each other. All right, there we go. My pick is in right there. A little Chris Olave. So was last year, was that like was that your biggest win?
Yeah, it's my biggest win in fantasy football.
No, I'm going to say nobody from the IRS is watching. Don't care. Don't worry about that.
No. It was my biggest win. It really in fantasy football. Like aside from another big win that I had in another tournament.
Well, I want to know what that other tournament, poker tournament.
You know what? Okay, this is going to blow your mind. Back in 2018, I believe it was, I won the CBS sports bracket for the NCAA tournament. So I was the grand prize winner. I went out to San Antonio. They gave me tickets to the semifinals and the finals. And this is when Villanova beat Michigan. And they gave me $7,000 cash, CBS. Millions of entries. And I got the grand prize.
Nice.
Crazy.
Nice. That's so funny. So actually, all right, so you're from Staten Island.
Yeah.
There was a pool. I don't remember the name of the bar in Staten Island. Mm-hmm. And it was the biggest NCAA tournament pool there was. Mm-hmm. And, it was like nobody busted it up because all the local cops, all the local firemen, everybody who lived in Staten Island was in this pool. You just had to pick, I think it was like $50 an entry. You just had to pick the final four and the winner and the tie-breaking score. And there I am sitting there that year. It was 2000, the year that Michigan State won it all. And I had 3 out of the 4 final four right. And I had Michigan State winning. And I was literally 2 points off from the final score of that game. But the woman who won the pool that year had 4 kids. She picked all of their schools that they went to. The youngest was at Michigan State. The oldest was at Wisconsin. And Wisconsin was the one that did me in. I was the year I bet on Stroh Swift. I was so close right there. I had 2 bouncers from Manhattan already paid. I was going to pay them each $1,000 to just walk me down to the Staten Island, to the bar in Staten Island, escort me with my duffel bag full of cash. And it didn't happen.
Wow.
It didn't happen. But that's my big fun Staten Island story there. I'm sure you heard about the pool as you were growing up. I'm sure you did.
Oh yeah. I mean, you were lucky to walk out of the bar with the money if you win a pool like that.
Well, that's why I had to pay guys.
Yeah.
That's how I had to do it.
That's a dangerous win.
They were totally cool about it too. These 2 dudes were absolute monsters, absolute behemoths.
All right, I'm on the clock.
Yeah, you're on the clock. I'll let you you think this stuff through here and go through your process. I won't be distracting you at all.
I know you're doing good actually here.
Do you want to talk through it? Do you want to talk through your pick?
You know what? I'm looking at like wide receivers still because I still see a lot of value there. And as much as I would love to grab another running back, I just feel like I can wait because I feel like the wide receivers are really like the guys that give you the spike weeks. And I'm going to take one right now that is probably going to have a breakout season. And he already did have a decent season, but this is the guy, Tedero and McMillan.
I'm a big fan.
Love him.
I'm a big fan.
This is your typical X receiver right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what I love about, talking about Carolina is like Dave Canales as a coach. And obviously it's his offensive scheme that's in there. So dedicated to the X receiver. Like, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of bullish this year on Jalen Coker. Because they didn't get anybody else. And if you're going to have somebody who's going to play that slot flanker spot there, he's capable of sitting on the outside in a 2 receiver set. You move him into the slot there. If you want to get a guy like Xavier Legette or Chris Brazel, one of these field stretching guys onto the field there, it kind of opens things up for Coker. But McMillan is the guy who he's going to see that big, bulky target share.
Absolutely. Yeah. Carolina even said they want to pass the ball, stretch the field. The coaching's talking about it. That's almost like a stack opportunity if I can get my hands on that. If I was going to get Coker and Bryce Young, it's not a bad stack.
You know what? I'll tell you what. It's actually kind of funny. I've been having conversations with people about the concept of stacking and in a best ball tournament, and which way it goes. I think in the last draft that I did, you were actually in that one also. This is how, just so everybody knows, while Joe gets to make his pick here, this is how Joe and I connected because we were doing the whole live stream thing last week, and I didn't know that Joe was the winner of the best ball tournament from last year. And so I don't know if you guys caught the broadcast. I closed out the show by saying, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to make fun of everybody's teams. I'm not going to praise these guys. I'm not going to praise anybody for what they did. And I started ripping through the teams. And I guess I was a little too mean on Joe's elderly running backs. to which then he reached out, contacted RTSports, and put me in touch with him so that I could. Oh, dude, you're sniping me every which way right now. What's up, man? You don't like me? You hate me for some reason, Joe?
You know what? If he has a bad year, I did you a favor.
Do you think he's gonna have a bad year?
Nah, he's coming back. Lad McConkey, that's a different offense this year, sir.
That is a much different offense this year. I am crazy bullish on these guys. What I love, I mean, it's obviously, so I love the fact that you're a systems guy. Like, talk to me about that, because most fantasy players like aren't like in such fine tune with what the coaching scheme is going on here. Talk to me about, I mean, just your football fandom from start to finish, and how you just got so deep into it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as football fandom, I mean, how long have I been a football fan?
Well, your whole life.
My whole life. Yeah, my name is Joe Jacoby. So if you can guess the team that's my favorite, then you're truly the guru.
Well, Joe Jacoby from Staten Island. I mean, are you a Jet fan?
No. Who was the original hog on the Washington Redskins?
Oh, shit.
Joe Jacoby.
Joe Jacoby. Oh, my God.
That's
Why was I thinking Jacoby Jones? Who did Jacoby Jones play for?
The Ravens.
The Ravens.
Yeah.
So you're an old school Hogs fan. How do you feel about the word Commanders?
Yeah, I would rather prefer to say the other one.
I can understand that.
It's tough when I tell people I'm a fan of the Redskins, also known as the Commanders. I mean, that's kind of how, because I was 4 years old when I became a fan, and you know, to me, there'll always be the Redskins. But it's like it's a childhood thing. He's had the same name as him, and I became a fan. And throughout the years, I'm still a fan, even though they had a terrible year last year. And, you know, they're going to come back. That's a bounce back team for me.
How do you grow up in Jets-Giants territory and become a Washington fan, knowing the division rivalry here? Like, how much, like, I can appreciate the fact that you didn't go the Cowboys direction. You weren't a front runner, right? So thank you for that. But I mean, really, like, what was that? How many fights were you in with like Giants fans?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, being a Redskin fan in New York is like going to a Chinese restaurant to order pizza. All right, so I'm thinking about how I became a lot of the fans I was around were Giant fans, and Jet fans were always unhappy and sad. The Giant, I got to turn this thing off. Sorry about that.
No. You're good. I like making sure that you're making your picks, you know, how you want to do that. And I want to make sure that you know, it's not easy. And I don't know anybody out there who thinks it might be easy to draft a team while you're sitting here, obviously pouring out your strategy, pouring out everything that you kind of know about things. So while Joe is making his pick before he tells us how he ended up a Skins fan, I mean a Commanders fan, whatever. Shout out to anybody who's in the chat. I see Angie Hatfield's over here. Jeremy Brock is in here. Victor Swenson just showed up. So thank you guys, everybody, so much for joining us here. Jeremy Brock sends his congratulations to you there, Joe. We got Jan watching on X. Oh, Jeremy Brock is Fozzie. Is that Fozzie? Fozzie, is that your real name? Walker. Oh, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Joe, you know how much I love Chuba. If you know me, Joe, then you've followed me at all. You're taking my guy like that. I didn't even see Chuba. He's so far down in the rankings here.
Yeah. I needed him. I needed a running back.
You needed a running back, and now all of a sudden, now you see the plan there, right? There's Tedero McMillan, there's Chuba. But by the time we get all the way down to where Bryce Young is coming off the board, I don't think anybody's going to really be fighting you for it.
No.
All right, so dealing with Washington versus Jets and Giants fans.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, growing up in New York, not liking the Giants or Jets, I mean, you're going to make enemies. I mean, I wore my Redskin jacket all the time. Oh, why do you like the Redskins? You get that all the time. And I was just like, look, it's just my team. And, there's a guy on the team that had my name, and I just took a liking to it. Saying that as a kid is a lot different than saying it now as an adult. So it was easier to justify that. And I mean, I used to Jay Schrader, Joe Theismann, Gary Clark, Art Monk. Those guys were like my heroes growing up. I love that. Clint Didier. Those are my favorite teams. And it's funny as you get older and the names change, but you still love the team, but they're never really that team that you fell in love with. You ever notice that when you become a fan?
The Jets when I was growing up, yeah, right. I mean, it was the Richard Todd era. It was
Ken O'Brien,
Freeman McNeil.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I mean, I grew up with we grew up with the New York Sack Exchange.
Yeah.
Right. And then to add to it, we had Joe Klecko double duty with the Cannonball Run, and he started doing the fun movies that we were as kids always going to see. So I totally dig that. I mean, yeah.
Just different, you fell in love with the team you grew up with. And then, you say, like, I feel like a little disconnect. I live in Vegas now, and I got season tickets for the Raiders just to go watch the games. And I could see, other teams play them. I'd have to say, even though I'm a fan of the Redskins, Commanders, I'm more of a fan of the game.
That makes sense. That's kind of that. I mean, that's what happens. That's what happens when you let I mean, damn.
That was a late pick. I don't know how I even got him in 7.
I think I'm just I mean, I'm going to end up having to punt the tight end position here for crying out loud. I love Sammy Laporta this year. I think that he's going to be in a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Pet, with Petzing as his offensive coordinator, we know what he's going to play around with. We know what we're going to end up seeing. So, what was I just going to ask you? Well, I don't know. Let's take it to the board here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what we've got going on. Let's start off with like a little bit of a breakdown here for you. Puka Nacua, you love Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Collins, Tedero McMillan, Lad McConkey, Chuba Hubbard, Sam Laporta. No, nothing. What are you got buyer's remorse here on this squad already?
Oh man! Oh, I didn't hear you. What'd you say? I'm sorry. You muted out. My bad.
No, I was just trying to figure out. I just wanted to know if you wanted to kind of break down your team, little thoughts that you've had there, or do you want to wait? You want to kind of look around the board and talk about some things like why nobody's touching the quarterbacks here in round 7.
Yeah, you see, the minute I say that, the quarterback's going to be gone now. I got to be careful. Hang on. So here's what I'm looking at. First of all, I like your pick of Lamar Jackson right after me. I was thinking of taking him, but that's a guy that can win it with his legs, win it with his arm, and he's going to have a comeback year, in my opinion. A lot of people like that were down on players last year, they're going to cut, like Brian Thomas Jr., perfect example. He's a guy that did somebody draft him yet?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, well, he's probably going to be gone now, but I'm telling you, that's a guy that if I have the opportunity to get him, I'm going to grab a guy like that because he's coming off a down year, and I'm sure he knows he had a down year, and Trevor Lawrence is going to continue to do well, especially in that system. So, again, the system, the offensive coordinator, who's getting the targets, the schedule. I mean, there's so many variables that favor a guy like that. And then I'm looking at like some other teams like Terry McLaurin in the 7th round. He's the number 1 guy on the Commanders. Now, you take anybody else on that team, obviously you're gambling a little bit, but he's like a sure thing. The guy's going to get his targets. So I like the 7th and 8th rounds because these leagues are won by the first 3 rounds, the middle 3 rounds, and the last bottom 2 or 3 picks. It's like top, middle, bottom, winner. That's where you have to be right. What do you think, Bender?
I do agree with you. I mean, listen, like there's always so much focus on the first round. Like I get all the questions all the time. Oh, I'm picking fourth. Who am I taking? Oh, I'm picking ninth. Who am I taking? And you're right. Like your contest is not won in these rounds. Like what happens over here is much more important. And I gotta make a pick here as everybody's coming at me here, left and right. I don't know who WNL is. Week 3, picking ninth, taking Joe Burrow from me like that. Come on, man. I wanted that. I was trying for that. I was hoping for that stack. I couldn't pass out. I wasn't gonna like reach for Joe Burrow and take him there, but now I got to come up with another player here. Woe is me. I'm taking Chris Godwin. Where are you going with your pick?
Godwin. All right, let's see.
Yeah, see, there it is. See, did I get you? Maybe just a little bit.
He was in my queue. Now he disappeared. All right. Let's see. I don't know here. I'm looking. There's still some running back value there, but it's more like guessing. There's a lot of committees guys left, but there's one starter there. There's one surefire starter, and you know what? I think I'm going to pass on him right now because there's another guy that's going to have a bounce back year. This is a guy who's got a really good schedule, and under the new offense with Philadelphia, I think he's going to have a much better year.
It'd be tough for him to not have a good year. Like I wanted so much to love Jalen Hurts last season. I really did because we knew that they were going to do load management on Barkley. We knew it, right? I mean, you can't give him that many touches one year and then expect him to repeat that the following season. And they did. They did some nice load management with him. The problem that I have is that Hurts didn't throw. Like I was all in on Devontae Smith, all in on AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts, and I actually stacked some Eagles, in some tournament play there to kind of reflect that feeling, and he just never threw, and I don't understand why he just chose not to throw. Now they talk about he's not coachable. He only wants to do his own thing. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't necessarily buy that kind of talk there, but it is kind of tough watching him, not throw the football like he's supposed to be doing.
I follow the Eagles because they're in my division, and Sean Mannion, he's a rising offensive mind in the NFL. Think about it. He's been around Sean McVay, he's been around Kevin O'Connell, Clint Kubiak, and the Kubiak system. So you're going to see a lot of West Coast now. You're going to see a lot of quarterback-friendly reads. This is going to be a different team. That's why I have Barkley and Hurts, because you're thinking about them last year, but what Mannion brings is going to change those guys up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's got the pedigree of working with those guys, and he said it too, right? And that's actually, it's kind of funny. That's one of the things that has been a relatively hot topic of conversation with regard to, because I mean, and you're a systems guy, so you know what I'm talking about here. There's 10 new head coaches. There's 20 new offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of shit that's going to change from last year to this year. And, and so the hope here is that Mannion does something for him. Good. Is that your boy? Is Tony Pollard? That was your starter? That was your boy?
Yeah, he's getting the touches. He's the guy.
Tony Pollard.
I like him. I like him a lot.
He had a great finish to last season. Great finish to last season.
Yeah, he did. And that's going to be a better team. I mean, you got Cam Ward getting new offensive weapons, Carnell Tate. They're going to have to stop the pass now, and who's going to benefit off that? It's going to be the run game.
Yeah, and I'm not a believer in Tajay Spears. I mean, how many years have we seen whether or not he was going to actually do anything? Do you have any thoughts on Nick Singleton, the rookie that they picked up? Like that's it's always kind of the funny thing is like I've never been like a big college football guy. I grew up in New York at the same time that you did, right? So it was like Rutgers wasn't even a thing, and when we were kids, it was all Big East basketball, right?
Yeah.
So I never got bit by the college football bug growing up, and so I didn't really have like much in the way of scouting. Are you a big college football guy?
Yeah, I watch a lot of college football, and I'm familiar with Penn State. And I saw Nick Singleton was really good like 2 years ago, and then I think he might have had some injuries. He kind of fell off a little bit, but he's a workload kind of guy, and he caught passes. That's a guy that would easily replace Tajay Spears, in my opinion, because Tajay Spears was like a third down back anyway. It wasn't like a real backup. And if Pollard stays healthy, there's no room for Nick Singleton right now. Maybe next year. I mean, who knows what'll happen free agency, but I think Pollard gets back to where he used to be when he was on the Cowboys.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And I mean, listen, you look at Brian Daboll's offense.
Yeah.
And what I love about Daboll's offense is that he loves to spread the field horizontally, which is going to open up the running lanes even more, I think. I mean, I'm kind of banking on that in a variety of ways. Oh, here we go. I'm on the clock. I opted to take Jaden Reed instead of taking a tight end. I feel like if I don't get a tight end who I like here, then I'm going to be bumming at the position. And considering it is tight end premium, I guess I'm going to have to look at some guys. And you know what? Here you go. In the spirit of, guys who have down years and everybody's kind of quit on them, why don't I just finish that Baltimore Ravens stack of mine and give myself a little Mark Andrews? They let Isaiah Likely walk away. They don't have another tight end here. Declan Doyle comes from that Ben Johnson offensive scheme. And when Declan Doyle kind of works through things, he's going to want to incorporate, obviously, the tight end. And I think that, Mark Andrews, with that new deal that he signed over there, they've made this commitment to him. Injuries aside, I don't hate Mark Andrews.
No, I don't either. And he's going to get a lot more playing time, a lot more receptions. I'm actually concerned about taking Likely because Theo Johnson's a good tight end in New York as well. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but Harbaugh and Likely got a good relationship. But I feel a lot better with that. You just inspired me to take a tight end. This is a guy that's going to get catches. You definitely motivated me.
I mean, here's the funny thing, and I don't know how you feel about tight end premium. I feel like it favors the top guys. Like if you're number 2 target on your team, then tight end premium really does make a difference. But if you're a guy who sees maybe like 4 or 5 targets a game, maybe you'll get a red zone look here and there. I don't necessarily know if tight end premium really lifts you. Like Sam Laporta, I think, is going to get lifted by tight end premium. Will Jake Ferguson, or is Jake Ferguson more of like your red zone target kind of a guy? And is that going to be, some kind of a boost?
Yeah, like there's home runs and there's base hits. The home run is the guy that's going to catch the touchdown. The base hits is the 8 receptions. Maybe he gets a touchdown, but he gets the yardage. See, in your format, you're getting 1.5 points for a reception. I went into last year's draft with no emphasis on tight ends because I knew that since they were getting a bonus half, that there's going to be a lot of early tight ends that are going to get picked, and it's going to leave cracks for wide receivers that should have been picked 2 rounds ago. See, that's another thing that I analyzed here. I was like, let me go against the crowd mentality, wait for tight ends. And I did wait, and I was able to get really good running backs, really good wide receivers. And then I double tapped Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz late in that draft. And that was like the difference for me in this format.
I mean, listen, to not overrate the tight ends, I think that is a fantastic notion there. I think that, that's one of the things that some people, they lean a little too hard into it. Now, I've got a question here in the chat. It's at Pull in Front. Wants to know, how worried are you about the bye weeks in a best ball format? When you were doing your drafting of that championship squad, Joe, how important were the bye weeks for you?
Very important, because you strategically got to draft where you don't have too many guys on the same bye week. Otherwise, you're going to wind up having that 1 week where you're hoping that third-rate guy is going to have a first-rate performance. So it's very important, I think, to spread around the bye weeks. Like, if you look at my team right now, they're all spread around. But if I had 3 guys on the bye on week 11, then I'm digging in the crates in the late rounds to get like some subpar guy that's just going to fill in. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you say, oh, I'll just have 1 bad week, but I can still win this thing. If you don't consistently score points every single week, you'll fall behind and never catch up in a league like this. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Look out for the bye weeks. Definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely something I was taking a look at as I sit here and I look at my team here with, like, the Baltimore stack in 13, bye week 13. Jonathan Taylor also there on 13. It's a tough spot to be in there. I was actually just looking, and the guy who I wanted was actually taken right before you there, Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
I was very bullish on Kenneth Gainwell. Very excited about, like, the possibilities from him. I think he's got, I think he's just in a really good spot here. Sorry, I gotta make this pick. I gotta figure out who I'm taking here. Goodness gracious. Well, if I was going to take Kenneth Gainwell, I might as well just talk about Baker Mayfield and whatever. I mean, it's Zach Robinson's offense, right? I mean, dude's just going to be throwing. It's all he likes to do. And Bucky Irving's all banged up still. Gainwell, I thought, would have been a really nice addition for this team. I mean, they got rid of Rachaad White to pay more money to Kenneth Gainwell, so he's obviously going to be utilized.
Yeah.
Let me move this draft board up for a lot of people here. If you guys got more questions that you want to throw down here into the chat, you want to ask Joe Jacoby how he did it. Tenacity.
Yeah.
So where are you at here with your squad right now? How are you feeling about this group? I mean, how many best ball drafts actually have you done already?
I think I'm up to this is my 4th one, I think. 4 or 5. Your
4th one.
Yeah.
And how does this team build kind of, how's it compared to the others?
You know what? I got players on this team that won me the championship last year.
Oh, you're a run it back kind of guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm running it back. I got Stafford. He was on my team. I got Hurts. He was on my team. I got Nakua on my team. So these 3 guys, I mean, they were a vital. Well, actually, Jalen Hurts really kind of let me down. It was Stafford getting him late last year that really put me over the top. And now I picked him in round 11. But last year, I think I had him in like round 13 or 14. He slipped through the cracks.
Which is it's always so funny. Yeah. And I have this, here's another one here that I think you'll be able to kind of relate to as well, right? When we draft these wide receivers in rounds like, 2 and 3, whatever. You took Puka in round 1, right? Devontae Adams is a top pick. I don't even remember. He went in round 7, right? Like, why does Stafford fall so much? Who's getting these guys the ball, right? I mean, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle used to go super early, but then nobody wanted Tua. I always found that to be a kind of an interesting thing, that people just turn around and they turn away certain guys.
Yeah, because you got to buy on bad news. It's like the stock market. You got to buy when nobody wants it and sell when everybody wants it. That's how I look at these players. They're like shares. So like Stafford had a bad back going into before the preseason. It was questionable whether he was going to start. And I'm like, this is Matt Stafford. This guy won a Super Bowl recently. I'll take him in the 14th round. And he became like my most valuable player. Besides Bijan, it was Matt Stafford. So you got to find this year's Matt Stafford to compete in these kind of leagues. I'm telling you.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where are we going here with your next pick?
Man, this is a tough one. I just feel like I really want to do this because I have a plan later.
Oh,
so here it is.
let's see it. Let's see if we can
Here
sort
it
through the
is.
plan.
This is the plan.
Ah, there he is.
Yeah.
I love him. I do. I definitely do.
And you know what? The benefit of the stack is that if one guy gets hurt, the other guy's going to get the lion's share. So that's a good, that's a good formula that I like to use. It's a backup with an option to score a lot of points.
And you know what the good thing also is, because when you take a look at that Carolina team, right? There's no tight end on that team that's worth drafting, right? Nobody cares about Tommy Tremble. Nobody cares about Jatavian Sanders. And, there's a distinct pecking order. Xavier Legette, that dude, it's the weirdest thing, right? Have you ever sat there and watched Xavier Legette play? The dude jumps before every pass comes to him. And it causes more drops and causes more headaches than it's actually really worth. And I think that's kind of a goofy quality that he has. And I think that's what keeps him from really blossoming into a better player. It's going to allow Jalen Coker that opportunity to zip right past him.
Yeah, I agree. But during playoffs last year, Jalen Coker was lighting it up.
Yes, he was.
He was lighting it up.
Yes, he was. Holy cow. I'm looking at a player who I want to take, and something that you said a little earlier is completely turning me off from him. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I don't want you to take him.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see.
Uh-oh. Don't take my guy.
I think I know who it is.
No, you don't know who he is.
I know who it is.
Who is it?
All right.
I'll tell you if you're right if you guess it.
Is it an Andy Reid player?
No, it is not an Andy Reid player.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pretend I just picked the number one receiver on the Chiefs right now because I don't know if Rashee Rice is even going to see the field. I really don't.
Well, now I hope your Stephon Diggs call comes true.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. Where's Diggs in these rankings? Am I grabbing Diggs now? No, he's not the guy who I'm taking.
Oh man.
I'll tell you what. The player who I wanted to take, and I'm hesitant to do it because of the situation. But you know what? Week 13 isn't the playoffs. Week 13 isn't the be all end all. No. And I'll tell you what, man. I like me some Josh Downs.
That's a good pick.
With no Michael Pittman, right? And Alec Pierce moving into that X receiver role. Downs, to me, he's the guy who ends up being that slot flanker player who moves in and out. And when, Nick Westbrook-Akine, that's going to be your field stretcher during a 3-receiver set. Okay, that's fine. But so now I'm locked in here that week 13 is going to be a disaster for this team. And I don't know if I'm really if I'm shooting myself in the foot or what, but it's a little nerve-wracking here.
Yeah, but you got to wonder who's throwing him the ball. Is it going to be Daniel Jones? I mean, I'm staying away from Colts because I don't know who's really going to be quarterbacking. I don't know how long that guy's going to take to get back on the field. Do you have any insight on that?
What was the news item I saw today was that Daniel Jones was doing. He went through all of his individual drills at OTAs today. He hasn't done any team drills yet. But the fact that he was doing all of his individual work seemed to be encouraging. Okay. I don't know if that's necessarily the case or not, but we're going to have to wait and see. Listen, obviously Riley Leonard would be a hot mess. It would be an absolute disaster. That would bum me out. Right?
There'll be a lot of ups and downs drafting that guy, literally.
Dude, that was the worst part about being a Jonathan Taylor owner last year. That was because Jonathan Taylor was unstoppable for the first several weeks of the season. Absolutely unstoppable. And then Daniel Jones got hurt, and it all just completely went to crap. Completely went to crap. I mean, this, he still had good games, but man, that dude was carrying me through a number of things.
Yeah, he had a 50 point week.
I miss those days.
Right.
I miss those days. Destroying everybody early on in the season. All right, here we go. My David Njoku pick. I had to do it. What's your I'll let you make your pick, but as you're making your pick, I definitely am curious, because you're a systems guy and because you know Mike McDaniel extremely well and what he likes to do, right? Then the question is when you have a Rondé Gadsden already there and then you bring in David Njoku, is that just a lack of faith in Gadsden? Is that, is David Njoku primed to be that tight end that we saw? I mean, if you look at Mike McDaniel, obviously all the work that he did with George Kittle. And then obviously, it's not only George Kittle, but then he goes and was it 2023? Jonnu Smith ended up with over 100 targets, 88 catches, 880 yards, 8 touchdowns, kind of away. So I was really bullish on Gadsden, but then they brought in Njoku. And I kind of feel like it shifts towards Njoku as opposed to Gadsden, who kind of falls to the back burner, I think.
That's a good point. Like, McDaniel is definitely going to change that team up, but Njoku is a big injury risk. I like, the one thing I can say, if you have Njoku, you got to get Gadsden, because one of those guys are going to get a touchdown if they're going tight end heavy. If you have Njoku and somebody else has Gadsden, it kind of conflicts against you picking Njoku, because you really have to have both guys to get maximum return out of that strategy. Does that make any sense?
Did you ask if that made any sense? Of course it makes sense.
Yeah. So like if whoever drafted Gadsden, is he off the board? Yeah.
Yeah, Fozzie's got him.
So if I was in his spot, that would have been a prime time to take Njoku, because you never have to worry about a tight end on the Chargers at all. But to spread them around through different teams in the committee type of tight end, I think it's more of a risk. But if Gadsden goes down, you got one of the best tight ends in the league if he stays healthy.
Yeah. Brent Campbell, who is pulling front, by the way, chimed in, says week 10 is the bye week hell for me. I don't necessarily know if week 10 is the bye week hell from him. I think every week that he's going to have to deal with you, having just swiped Bryce Young from you, I think that's going to be the hell week for him now.
That hurt. I had a plan. Like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
Punched in the mouth. Well, I'll tell you what, man. This is, again, one of the perils of being here on the live stream, talking through your strategies. Everybody's kind of focused on what you're doing with your team, and they do. They love to screw you. They love to mess with you a little bit here.
And that's what makes it fun. I love it. Maybe next year, if I don't win and somebody else is on here, I'd be happy to get on here and talk some smack and steal a pick or two from them. I would love to.
The look on your face as you were saying that.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely spectacular, man. Absolutely spectacular.
All right. I got a good pick coming up.
Oh, I want to hear it.
So I like Clint Kubiak. I like the Raiders. I like the wide zone rushing that they're going to do. I think they're going to do a lot of action. And I think there's a guy that's going to benefit on a lot of the play action, vertical, deep routes, and it's going to be this guy. And he's back with his boy, Kirk Cousins. They paid him a lot of money. And I'm going to be at these games, and I'm telling you now, Kubiak's going to unlock Jalen Naylor. You heard it here first.
The funny thing is I've kind of said, some similar things in the sense that, well, let me see about something about making a pick here and see if there's anybody who I even remotely like. I don't like any of these players. I don't like any of them. Yeah, I'm going to take your running back. I'm going to take Chris Rodriguez.
That's good.
Right? Your former commander. But you know what? Here's the thing with Jalen Naylor, right? And oh, that's right. I was talking to Jim Bowden about this on the Fantasy Alarm Show because he was gushing about Brock Bowers. And I'm like, Jalen Naylor's a slot receiver, right? And you know, when you're sitting there, if you're looking at what the receiving core is for over there, if you bring Naylor in and you pay Naylor the money that you're paying him, you're gonna play him, right? Trey Tucker will be on the he can play the Z. You let Jack Besh play the X, and then in 3 receiver sets, you're locking down Jalen Naylor out of the slot. And you're right, he's got that relationship with Kirk Cousins that dates back. So my whole thing is, why are we taking Brock Bowers in the second when it's a brand new scheme? It's Clint Kubiak who hasn't overly utilized the tight end, right? AJ Barner didn't really get like a ton of work there. You're already like losing slot snaps because when you could have lined Brock Bowers up in the slot, now you're going to have Jalen Naylor there. So it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of psyched. Now I might have to you got season tickets. I might have to go. Do they play the Jets? Do the Raiders play the Jets this year?
No, I don't think so. I don't think no. Why?
Because I'll come to Vegas and force you to take me to a game. What are you talking about? Why?
I'll definitely take you to a game. If they play the Jets, it'll be nice to see your face after they get blown out.
Oh, see, well, you know what though? I'll say this, man. Here's the beautiful thing. Wait, oh, yep. Oh, but they do play the Jets, but it's in New Jersey. Blech.
Well, maybe I'll have to fly to New York and we'll watch that game.
I don't want to watch that game. Here, all right, I'll give you my Jets spiel here right now, because to me, wins and losses don't mean anything this year. They don't mean a thing to the Jets. The Jets can win 7 games. The Jets can win 2 games. You got 3 first-round draft picks already. So you've got the draft capital that you need to trade up to get the QB that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Glenn loses his job sometime around week 8 or week 9 because the Jets are underperforming. They move Frank Reich, ancient little Frank Reich, into the head coaching job. And then when the season ends, they fire the whole coaching staff. They bring in somebody who can run a proper scheme in this century, and that person drafts his quarterback. Jets in the Super Bowl 2029.
Okay, who's the quarterback? Manning? Is it going to be Manning?
I hope so. I'll take, I think a lot of people are like, oh, he's overrated, blah, blah, blah. I'll take that pedigree because it doesn't matter if this dude is overrated or anything like that. If he's smart, and I'm sure he is, he's got 2 older brothers and a father to help show him what he's doing wrong. And I think that would be right. Come on, Arch Manning leading the Jets to the promised land 2029. You heard it here first.
I could see it. His brother won it on the Giants. That would be great to see that.
Thanks,
really
man. Would. See, instead of being like up yours, Bender, you don't know what you're talking about. I appreciate that.
No, it would be amazing. It would be a great story. Like, I'm in it for the stories.
I am here for the stories as well.
I'm in it for the story. All right.
I got a guy here who I think a little on the underrated side. And I feel like with the number of 3 receiver sets that we are going to see in Tampa Bay, I think Jalen McMillan can be a player. I think he can. Zach Robinson loves, we saw it, right? Zach Robinson comes from the McVay world, loves the 11 personnel. He ran 11 personnel more than any other coach in Atlanta when he didn't even have decent wide receivers over there, right? And now he comes to Tampa Bay and he's got Ibuka, Godwin. He's got McMillan. It doesn't even matter that, whatever, Cade Otton, doesn't matter. Ted Hurst, who I think has the ability to be maybe that X receiver, that Tampa Bay definitely needs. So I think Jalen McMillan, he might be, seemingly as the odd man out, but I feel like he's a little on the underrated side. I feel like, again, if Ibuka or Godwin goes down, he's the guy.
Yeah, let me speak to that. When Ibuka was in the slot, he had some of the best weeks in the beginning. He was the next big receiver. When they moved him out wide, his whole season changed.
Yep.
So you can actually, if you have a McMillan and he has a big year and they move him out wide and they can put Ibuka back in the slot, that's going to be a dangerous combo. You actually have you got Baker Mayfield. So I see what you're building over there. That's a good new offensive coordinator that's willing to take chances, and those are good players. I like the Buccaneers this year. I do.
Yeah, I just feel like they're gonna throw a ton. And every time I hear Todd Bowles talking about, did you hear Todd Bowles' comments about Bucky Irving, by the way?
What did he say?
He said, well, he's working his way back from this shoulder injury. I expect to see him on the field sometime in this summer or maybe the fall. And I was like, the fall? As in September, October? Are you telling me that there is a chance that Bucky Irving isn't even going to start the season on time?
Yeah.
That's kind of got me all twisted up and thinking, yeah, we're definitely looking for Zach Robinson to really kind of light it up through the air.
Yeah. I got to say, last year on my championship team, I drafted Bucky Irving, and he was useless. If I didn't have Javonte Williams or, guys that would fill in for that guy, I was in trouble. I drank the Kool-Aid on Bucky Irving. That was probably the worst pick I made on the team that I won the championship with, was Bucky Irving.
Yeah, I worried about him. You know what? Here's a guy. Let me get your take on this. Should I take him now? I'll take him now. I'll take him now just so we can talk about him. How about that?
Go ahead.
Calvin Ridley.
Wow, that's dumpster diving.
You draft Carnell Tate to become your top guy, right? Your X. Wan'Dale Robinson is your slot guy who helps move the chains. Who becomes your Z receiver? Is it Chimere Dike, or is he just going to return punts? Is it Alec Ayamanor? I mean, Ridley, he adjusted his contract to stay with Tennessee here. And I'm curious as to what you think. Can he recapture maybe some of that magic when he was just the number 2 receiver in Atlanta behind Julio Jones?
How old is he?
How old is Calvin? I don't know. Let me tell you.
Let's look at his age.
I'm going to look him up right now.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, 31.
31 years old. Wow. One shot left at 31. I hope that happens, but I look at him like that's to me. I hope that happens for your sake, but he's kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins kind of guy. It's hard to see wide receivers reemerging in their 30s, but if it happened, that would be the pick of the year. So I'm rooting for you.
See, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I just wanted a little bit of like a nod of approval there, or at least just some support, just a little support.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you got by the way, Victor Swenson wants to know how big of a boat did you buy?
Big of a boat. I'm lucky I can get a canoe with 10 grand.
Right? And 10 grand. 10 grand doesn't get you shit these days.
Jeez, 10 grand's the new 2,000. Well, it was great, just to answer that in a different way. It was right after the holidays and Christmas and New Year's, and it was great to get that check after the holiday season. And, because those are the times where you're spending money and gifts and all that. So it was timed perfectly, but I didn't get a boat.
Did you? What was your big purchase for yourself? What was your I'm going to spoil myself with this right now?
Let me think.
Right into the mind of Joe Jacoby. Is he a fancy watch kind of guy? Does he buy new suits? Does he just go and blow it all at a big dinner?
No, you know what? I went on a cruise.
Ooh, where'd you go?
I did a 4-day cruise in Mexico and came back and spent small portion of it on the cruise. Had a good time. It was towards the end of January. So I did something constructive with the money. I didn't gamble it back.
Come on. I love that. I love it. You got to get yourself something. I did the biggest win I think I had was I won a survivor pool. I guess it was like 2022 or 2023. Yeah, that was that money came in at like an absolute spectacular time. And it all just went into like a little fund so that the wife and I could go back to New York and just not care, right? Like just not give a crap about how much the hotel's going to be, not give a crap about New York prices or anything like that. It was just because I'm born, obviously I'm from there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go there, it's like, it's always like, if Fish is playing Madison Square Garden, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah, that was what we did. We did like the full trip from California to New York on the dime there. That was, oh shit, I'm on the clock. Oh, where am I going here? My friend. When you do a best ball draft, are you a single QB? Are you a 2 QB guy, or do you end up going for? How do you feel about drafting the third quarterback?
I say 2 to 3 quarterbacks, 5 to 7 running backs, 7 to 9 receivers, and 2 to 3 tight ends. That's like my system.
That's your system.
Yeah, a little more on the wide receiver side.
I'm usually like a three quarterback and 3 wide receiver kind of three tight end kind of guy. But I'm looking at the quarterbacks right now, and it's gross.
There's nothing there.
It's gross out there, man. I mean, do you really want to go with Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Me neither. What do you think about that Cleveland situation? How do you feel about that group?
Interestingly enough, Cleveland has an easy schedule this year. Yeah. They're playing teams with a low win percentage. I was looking at that earlier today. Their schedule's not bad. Hold on, let me make a pick real quick.
Sure. Take your time. I mean, because I definitely, that's actually a good topic to kind of go through when you're talking about strength of schedule. Like, obviously, we know that you're looking at like the fantasy playoff time, and you told everybody it's a great idea to get that, get a piece of that final game of the season.
Yeah.
How do you feel as far as shit, I just lost it in my head there. Oh, strength of schedule overall. How much stock do you put into it?
Quite a bit, because I believe actually Cleveland may have the best schedule. The percentages are like 0.429. I was just looking at my phone. And then second to that is the Saints have a really good schedule. The Bengals, the Colts, Falcons. So let's just take the Saints, Bengals, and Browns. You got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase, you got Chris Olave, and then you sprinkle in Harold Fannin. You got 4 or 5 guys that could potentially win you a league. Because if they're playing weak opposition and they're being featured in their offense, they got a much better chance of scoring as opposed to like the hardest schedules like the Bears. The Dolphins got a really tough schedule. The Cardinals. The Packers got a tough schedule. So even though there's some good players to be had, the matchups may not give you the desired results, even though the player name might be bigger than a guy like, somebody on the Browns that could have a spike week. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for spike weeks in these leagues to win it. You need that 30-point guy that came out of nowhere. That's really the key.
You mean like Calvin Ridley? No.
Yeah, Calvin, he could be that guy.
He's not that guy.
Nah.
I hope he's that guy.
Might be.
All right, round 19. So as we kind of go through this, and again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in here to the RT Sports page. We appreciate all the comments that you got in here. Oh, I didn't even see this question here from Brian Gadis, who wants to know which Green Bay back on the roster has a chance to pick up workload. Now, for those of you who don't, aren't sure or haven't heard the latest, so apparently the Brown County district attorney released Josh Jacobs and said that he didn't think that there was enough. There wasn't enough evidence to hold him. And while there were 5 counts of domestic abuse, they released him because they just said that they didn't have enough, which is absolutely, I'm not going to say it's crazy, but it's interesting because probable cause is usually enough for a domestic violence situation. If they didn't even see probable cause in there, then I don't necessarily know if we're going to end up losing Josh Jacobs at all. I mean, we all already know that the NFL is super slow at punishing athletes and stuff like that. If you were looking at that Green Bay backfield, Chris Brooks is over there. I'm trying to remember who else is in that backfield. Oh, do I have to make a pick?
Yeah, you're up.
All right. You know what? Here you go. Easiest schedule in the world. Who knows? Maybe this is your starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
You got Shador?
No, I took Deshaun.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Shador sucks. Come on. You know Shador sucks.
He's horrible.
All right. Packers backs. Now I can actually take a look. So Chris Brooks, Marshawn Lloyd, Pierre Strong, Damian Martinez. Do any of these guys intrigue you at all?
Who are the last two?
Pierre Strong and Damian Martinez.
I'm not intrigued. I honestly, Pierce, I haven't heard his name in a while. Tell me about your strategy on that.
Oh, I don't have a strategy on that, man. I think that, like I said, I mean, probably ends up in some sort of a committee role. If Josh Jacobs were to be suspended in any way, shape, or form, I would look at that as a possibility. It's just like a committee because Marshawn Lloyd can never stay healthy. Chris Brooks, I don't mind Chris Brooks, but I don't know. I don't love him. I don't think that he's a particularly strong runner or somebody who I'm really that interested in. If Josh Jacobs doesn't play for any reason, I think you're looking at like big timeshare there. Chris Brooks on the short yardage, Pierre Strong on the pass catching, something ugly like that.
Yeah, or they'll pick up a free agent or possibly make a trade. There could be somebody shifting around if that guy's out.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
Drafting. What's that?
No, I was going to say, when you draft in May, you got to prepare for shortfalls. But, when you like OTA, people that are getting hurt before the season, there's a lot of risk, but the reward is worth it. So you got to get the backups. The handcuffs are going to save you later on if you make a mistake in May.
All right. I was looking for where Stephon Diggs went, round 14. So you're making your last pick here. Final pick for the champ, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Joe, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me here for this show, giving some insights and throwing down some amazing knowledge here. I mean, everybody has to absorb from this. Who's your last pick? Who you taking?
You can't go
Jalen Wright.
You can't go wrong when you go Jalen Wright. Now,
you've been waiting on that one, right? You've been waiting for that.
I'm going to make this quick. If Devon Achane gets hurt, this is the guy that you're going to want later on as a free agent in a regular league. I'm telling you, that's the guy you want.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead.
I agree. All right. So we've wrapped it up here. Let's talk. Let's go through it. I'll tell you what. You can talk about your team. your thought process, maybe some philosophy moves here. But then you've got to pick one other team on this draft board. I know it's tough while you've been chatting and talking here. Is there somebody in here that you saw their team as it was developing that intrigued you at all? You had some good things to say?
Well, I could finally relax and take a minute. You're right. It is kind of stressful when you're talking and you're drafting. And again, thank you so much for having me on and having me share my strategies. And this is really cool. I appreciate it.
Well, wait till I get you onto Sirius XM now.
Oh, let's do it, man. They always said I had the face for radio.
Look at that. I trimmed down my beard for you. I was looking like Santa Claus. I was looking like Dave Letterman, right? With like this big giant thing going on here. And I was like, I gotta clean up. I'm competing with the champ.
No, you're good, man. You dress for the occasion. You know who I like? I like Hit. I like his team a little bit because you got Ashton Janty, I think is going to have an amazing season. You got James Cook, who's always going to be solid, and Colston Loveland. Those three guys are the ingredients of a championship team, in my opinion, because they're going to be a lot of passing in Chicago. That Colston Loveland could be a tight end one. And then he's got Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. So he stole your two favorite players. And then you got Roma Dunze, who's got less problems not having DJ Moore to deal with. He's got the number one receiver on Washington. And then Parker Washington, he emerged as one of the better receivers in the league. You know, I really like his team, and he's got Justin Herbert. But at the end of the day, I would always draft mine over any other team because I think that I did a pretty decent job getting guys from last year's team and then sprinkling new guys that add different value. So I really wish everyone luck in this league, and I hope it's a fun league. But there are other teams that made some solid picks. Who's your favorite team in this league, Howard?
Well, you mean aside from mine, right? Aside
from your own, yeah.
I mean, Hit's team is actually rock solid. I dig that. I kind of like what Brent Campbell did at the top pick also. I mean, Bijan Robinson, I love. If that Kansas City offensive line can gel, I think the outside zone running scheme is really going to benefit Walker a lot there. Brock Bowers, that's the intriguing one, but Ibuka, Devontae Smith, who, let's face it, we're going to trade away A.J. Brown, and that's going to move Devontae Smith up the pecking order a ton there. Dobbins, always underrated. Yes, he always gets hurt, but when you've got Bijan and Kenneth Walker as your top two guys like Dobbins, Dowdle, they can just be good fill-in guys to have there. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to praise the team that stole Bryce Young from you. I'm sorry.
I know that hurt. That's okay. I'll get over it.
Never mind. That team sucks. That team's the worst.
Yeah, no, but everybody really did draft decent teams. I'm looking at all of them. You know, I like Chigi Okonkwo in the 12th round. I think you're going to hear his name a lot on the Commanders this year, and he's going to take over where Zach Ertz left off. I think he's going to have a really good year. I think Okonkwo.
They don't have. I mean, let's face it. This is your team, right? You've got McLaurin. I mean, who is it? Is it Antonio Williams? I thought they were going to sign Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they didn't. So Chiggy definitely is in a great spot here. For that. Do you like Antonio Williams? Do you like that other wide receiver?
They're unproven. It's hard to, again, I know, put it this way. If Okonkwo didn't have Gunnar Helm on the Tennessee Titans last year, he would have had way more targets, way more yards. And I think on the flip side, Gunnar Helm might have a decent year on the Titans. Separating those two guys, giving the Commanders a guy like Okonkwo is really like the second weapon next to McLaurin. I don't see anybody else.
I don't see anybody else either. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. The illustrious Beat Howard Bender draft here, brought to you by Joe Jacoby, the champ, the winner of 2025's tournament, proud owner of 10 grand for doing that. And so, Joe, man, I look forward to doing battle with you again here, and I also look forward to being able to do, like, have you on Sirius XM, bring you onto the show there, kind of share the wisdom, the words of wisdom. And I'm sure it'll be a lot easier to do when you're not like on the clock and you're under the gun.
Yes, and I appreciate that, and I thank you for the opportunity. And let's do some more in the future. We'll talk football and have fun doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, folks, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Always appreciate that very, very much. For Joe Jacoby, I'm Howard Bender. This has been an RT Sports production. Again, if you watch this on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Never miss another show. Never miss another draft. We've got you covered. But for now, I'm Howard Bender, and we'll catch you next time.